Hello, it's Erin Page, and I have another Glow moment. Today's guest is Jessica McClellan, and let me tell you, her bio is way too long for me to list. So I'm going to just point out a few things about her. She is a woman of God, a speaker. She is the founder and president of Giving Hope and Help. She's a talk show host, and I love this. She is the voice of the voiceless. Her story is so powerful and so meaningful, and it will really capture your heart. So I can't wait to share it with you. Let's take a listen. Hi, Jessica. How are you?
Hi, Erin. How are you?
I am so excited to have you share your Glow story, Go Live an Amazing Life, with me and so many others out there. Your bio is like boom. It is like so full of goodness and so full of just, I don't even know how you get any sleep. You are so out there and just blessing so many people with your goodness. And just reading it gives me goosebumps. So thank you so much for taking time from your busy schedule to be with all of us today and just be an inspiration and be a light to so many. Uh, Tell me, why don't you share first a little bit about yourself and just touch on, kind of an overview of that bio and, what you do. Share with people.
Well, first, let me just say thank you for thinking of me and for inviting me to share my story. I use a hashtag, share your story. I do a presentation on there's power in your story. And so to give me an opportunity to share a bit of mine is an honor. So thank you so much. A little bit about me. I am the founder and president of Giving Hope and Help. I'm also a motivational speaker. And I am addicted to giving. I love to give. I love to make a difference in people's lives. I knew at an early age that I would never retire from corporate America, although I had a very successful career in corporate America. I had the opportunity to step out on faith and take three problems that I had, and God literally gave me Giving Hope and Help. And those three problems that I had was I had a very heavy cycle, always had a very heavy cycle, a menstrual cycle. And then I'm also a survivor of sexual assault that I hid for 20 years as a teenager. And I also am a survivor of domestic violence. And I took those three problems and said, how can I help? As an adult, I would coupon for sanitary napkins and I would have an abundance of them. I would give them to friends and family for Christmas in September, the year that I launched Giving Hope and Help. And I literally had so many more everywhere in my closet, under the bed, in the linen closet. And I said, what can I do? And I was physically in my closet one day, and God said, what about the women that you have spoken to in the past at domestic violence shelters? Is that a need? And it was so heavy on me, Erin, that I was driving. I had to pull on the side of the road, and I looked up domestic violence shelters, and I got a voice on the phone. And I knew that I was going to launch Giving Hope and Help. This was October of 2013. I was going to launch it for my birthday in November of 2013, which was Thanksgiving birthday. So I didn't have a lot of time, had no business plan, had nothing written down other than the name of my organization, which was Giving Hope and Help. And I knew that I wanted to help women. Wasn't even clear on how. But those three issues that I had that I had literally overcame, and God brought me through those things. It was birthed to support women at domestic violence shelters. And so when I got this voice on the phone, I told her what I was doing, and she asked me would I like to take a tour. I told her I'm literally on the side of the road. I was on the side of the road in a parking lot, actually, and she said, where are you? I said, I'm in Lee Summit. She said, we're in Lee Summit. Where are you in Lee Summit? I told her where I was directly across the street.
Now, that's a sign if I've ever heard of one.
That is a sign.
Oh my goodness.
I literally couldn't believe it. So she invited me over immediately. Everything was divine, because typically people are busy. You can't just go in and take a tour. I went in, took a tour, And I said, when we were on the phone, I asked her, was sanitary napkins a need? And she said, yes, people don't think to give it, da, 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 da. And I said, well, I'm going to solve that problem. It just burst out of my mouth. I didn't even think it in my mind. It just came out of my mouth. I said, I'm going to solve that problem. Then I said, oh my God, what did I just say to myself? You know, I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to solve that problem? And God said, you have the vision. You've already done it. All you need to do is move forward. I will make the provision for the vision that you have. And I went in there, and that was October of 2013. We launched November 30th for my 45th birthday, 2013, and we collected over 5,000 products for two domestic violence shelters. And it just continued to go. It continued to grow. And so fast forward, we're in the state of Texas, as Texas Giving Hope and Help, launched there in 2015. Just did our 5th annual feminine drive there in November of 2019, did our 7th annual drive December of 2019 in Kansas City. We've added a cancer program in honor of my late niece. She was alive when we founded, or when we launched that arm of outreach. And then we also launched the Education is Your Passport scholarship program in 2015. So 2015 was a big year. We launched in Texas. We launched our Love Bags for Cancer outreach to support cancer patients. And we launched our Education is Your Passport scholarship program in 2015. So here we are in 2020, and this is our 7th year of being a nonprofit. We were incorporated as a 501c3 in 2015 as well. So 2015 was a big year. Every arm of outreach, I have a personal story to, like the domestic violence. I advocate against domestic violence and the heavy cycle. I believe that women, when they get to a place of refuge, they should have their needs met because they have taken a leap of faith to get away from their abuser and oftentimes leave a nice home and take just the kids at their side and the clothes on their backs and say, I am not going to live like this anymore. I'm going to go to a shelter. And it takes a lot of courage to do that. And for a woman to do that, these personal items need to be met. The world has not thought about it, and it's getting to be more popular. But when I launched Giving Hope and Help, I literally wept when I did my research of the period poverty across this world. And so we also donate feminine products to natural disaster survivors when there's hurricanes and when there's tsunamis. And we recently donated over 6,000 products to the survivors of Hurricane Dorian in the Bahamas, 2019. We also supply these products across the globe. We have given our products to women in Cambodia, Haiti, Africa, Limeroy, Kenya, Mexico, Nairobi.
I'm just covered in goosebumps because of just the expansiveness of a phone call and being right across the street. And I'm a firm believer in divine timing, and everything is created through divine. So, I mean, I'm literally covered in goosebumps, and you are absolutely correct, because it wasn't until I was introduced to your organization that it really soaked in, if you will, the need for feminine products. You think of toothpaste and other things, and really first, and I did until you and I connected and I learned more about your organization. So you've changed my life by having
awesome.
and you're just changing so many lives. So, and you're a mom and a grandma and a wife, and you're involved in just all kinds of different organizations. And I'm like, aren't you tired?
I'm exhausted, but I get my energy from giving. So, sure. I mean, if I have a request, I have to feel it. I'm like, honey, we got to do this, talking to my husband. And he's like, okay. He just goes right along with me. He is a phenomenal support. And I'm just truly blessed. I'm truly blessed. And I don't have $1 million, but I have a million pieces of me to give. So.
Well, I love that. I absolutely love that. And you are giving, and and people are receiving that love and those blessings. So thank you for doing what you're doing. And so I asked you if you would be a participant in my GLOW project, Go Live an Amazing Life, and share a story where love radiated, or you saw the good in something that was maybe not so good. So do you have a story to share with us today?
I do have a story to share. I'd like to share a story. Um, wow, it's really a good time to share this story because the high school graduates of class of 2020 have been just kind of missed their second semester of their senior year, and it's such a phenomenal time and to go visit colleges and decide which college you're going to go to, and it's just a fun time. And unfortunately, it hasn't been that way for them. So I want to share a little bit about my senior year of high school as I was making the transition to go to college, and just what happened. My dad would drive me to different colleges to take a tour on these colleges. I was a scholar in high school at the top 5% of my class, and I received several scholarships, but I didn't get a full ride at this time. And so my dad was taking me all around, and we were trying to see, which college would give the most. And I didn't have any college just like give me a significant amount. But we had decided that I was going to go to MU in Columbia. And 2 weeks before I was to move into my dorm, I had already been assigned in my dorm, my roommate. Love her, been knowing her since we were kids, and we were going to be roommates. And it was going to be great. I was going to be at MU. Well, 2 weeks before I was to go to MU, I got a full ride scholarship from Texas College in Tyler, Texas. And I had applied for the scholarship. It was the Presidential Scholar Award. And I had applied for it, but I hadn't heard anything back. So I was making plans to go ahead and go to MU. And my high school counselor was very paramount in helping me go to college and apply for different scholarships. And she actually helped me to apply for the scholarship. And so I got the scholarship. Well, remember, my dad had been taking me around to do tours and whatnot. And I told my parents I got the scholarship, and I was like, we got to go visit. And my dad said, no, we don't. I said, what do you mean we visited all the other colleges? And he said, you got a full ride. That's where you're going. That's where we're taking you.
That's right.
He said, we'll see it when we get there, right? So we went there, and my parents dropped me off. My mother was very good emotionally until it was time for them to leave, and she literally wailed in the lobby of the dorm, and I just couldn't believe it. I was like, where is this coming from? Because I was just so excited. But anyway, my dad said she cried from Texas to Kansas City. But I did very well my first year, and ended up with a cumulative GPA of a 3.8. So I had all A's and 1B my first year of Texas College. But I wanted a larger experience. This was a small private Methodist college, and it was very small, about 1,000 students. And I wanted a bigger experience. And so back then we had this book, the American Book of Colleges and Universities. And I wanted to choose, I love the HBCU experience, the Historically Black College University experience, but I wanted to experience at a bigger level. So I looked in that book, and I searched for the largest enrollment of a HBCU. And the largest enrollment of a HBCU was Southern University, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Southern University and Agriculture and Mechanical College, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And just so happened that was the college that my high school counselor graduated from. And she had told me all so much about it. So it was it. I was going there. Now, my scholarship did not transfer. Ding, ding, ding. So I told my parents, that I'm going to Louisiana. I'm going to leave Texas. And they were like, everything's paid for in Texas. I mean, I didn't even have to buy a book. Everything was paid for. And I said, I feel a call to go to Louisiana. That's where I want to be. No family there, never been there before in my life. Had an internship with Inroads Kansas City throughout college and beginning my junior year of high school, actually. And so I had saved money, and I saved money to literally go to Louisiana. I did everything via mail because there was no internet back then. And I got enrolled at Southern University. Did not have a place to stay, but I got on a airplane with 3 trunks and a one-way ticket and $125 in my pocket. And I had a friend who I graduated high school with. She was going to be there for her first year. I was coming in as a sophomore. She was going in as a freshman. So I decided, she agreed I'd stay in her dorm room with 4 other girls until I got my own. And so I moved in. She had a friend pick me up from the airport, moved in, did not have a place to stay, Erin. I was bunking in with her and her other 3 roommates. And I decided I've got to do something. I've got to get a dorm. So I would go to the dean's office every morning at 7 a.m. and sit on the steps and wait and wait and wait. I did this for 9 days straight until I was able to see him and tell him that I was 1,000 miles away from home and I needed a place to stay. I didn't even have my financial aid or anything in order. I didn't even know how I was going to pay for all of this. My parents told me, if you go there and leave a full ride, you're on your own. But I knew that there was a call for me to be there. Yeah. So finally on day 10, I got to see the dean of housing. And I walked in and I told him who I was. And I said, I'm 1,000 miles away from home. I haven't called my parents. I've been here for 10 days. They haven't heard from me because I'm not calling them until I get a dorm. And he says, who are you? And I told him who I was again. And I said, I have a 3.8. I'm a transfer student, da, da, da. He said, go see this person. That day I got a dorm. Now we got to tackle the financial aid. So I'm in the financial aid line. It's a replica building of the Superdome in New Orleans. The Superdome is round at the top. It's a big building. Well, Southern has a dome built just like it, and it's called the Mini Dome. And that is where everyone went for financial aid. I got in line. I'm alone. I'm 19 years old. I'm in a city I've never been. I've left a full ride. I don't have the money to pay for school, but I got to get financial aid. I got to figure this out. So I'm in line, and I'm in a long line, a very long line for 6 hours. And while I'm in that line for 6 hours, I'm infuriated. The devil is literally telling me I'm crazy. You left a full ride. You didn't have to go through any of this at the other school. All you had to do was enroll and go to class because everything was paid for. You're standing in this line. You're hungry. You don't, it was just a mess, and I'm just, everything's just hitting me on my shoulder. Like, you're the most stupidest kid ever, And so while I'm in this line, I was so angry at myself, but I just knew I needed to be there. I didn't want to leave the line. And the thought came to mind is, I wish I could just pay for myself and everybody behind me. I wish I could just pay for everybody, and then we don't have to be in this line. We just pay the money and we're done. Well, by the time I got up to the front of the line, I was in the wrong line. 6 hours in the wrong line. But while I was in that line, something happened. A dream was born for me to pay for people's college. And that is why today I give scholarships to students. This is the 6th year of the Education at Your Passport Scholarship Program. And I give these scholarships to students because I can identify with needing help. And so I made it through Southern University, 4 of the best years of my life. I made it and graduated with honors. And my parents came to Southern University for the first time my mom came before, but my dad came for the first time when I graduated. And I say all that to say is, if there's a will, there's a way. Every trial that we go through has purpose. If I had not transferred to Southern University, I would not have experienced the financial hardship that most students who are underserved experience today. So in that line, a dream was born. I would not have experienced the dream. I would not have experienced the 6-hour wait if I was at Texas College, where I did not have to worry about financial aid. As a matter of fact, at Texas College, I had a work study job in the financial aid department, and I didn't even need financial aid because I had a full ride scholarship. So all of that was tapping me on my shoulders when I was in that line at Southern University. But it was 4 years of grinding, making it happen. It was one of the most partying schools, but one of the most best schools. And so I made the decision to get my business. And that's what I tell students: get your business. You're not there to party. You can party, but did you study? You got to cut your time. You got the time management. And so that's my message to students. It's I have a long message, but I do not accept you cannot, because I did. And I did it in a time when it was much worse than what it is now. And my grandparents were such an inspiration to me. Um, I remember one year I couldn't get in school again because I needed $400. And my grandparents wired me $400 at that time. And to this day, I will never forget that. I do have 2 scholarships that I give in my grandparents' honor, cash scholarships in their honor for the Education is Your Passport Scholarship Program. And this year we're awarding 23 scholarships, including 1 full ride to Penn Valley. 1 full ride to Penn Valley.
I don't really know what to say, except, again, we go back to what I said at the beginning. You are like, wow. You are so inspirational. And again, you were put in that wrong line.
Purpose.
For a reason. That's where your purpose, your dream was born.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're such a light. Thank you so much for sharing. That is a go live an amazing life story if I've ever heard one. I just love it. You've been glowing since, you were 19 and blessing everyone with those scholarships. So real quick, and I will tag your website in the verbiage on the blog, but tell someone, if someone's watching this going, you know what, I'd love to learn more about the scholarship. Someone that's 18, 19 and going, I don't know how I'm going to make it. Maybe I can learn more and step into my own light, just like you did that day. So share a little bit about the scholarship and how people can get in touch with you.
Awesome. The scholarship is for underserved high school seniors, current year high school seniors. So for this year will be the class of 2020. We also offered full rides to single parents as well that had never been to college. So that is such an amazing opportunity. And the full rides are to MCC Penn Valley. Okay. This year was to Maple Woods and Penn Valley. Next year it may be just to Penn Valley. I'm not quite sure yet. But the main thing is it has to be high school current year students. If they have been to college through a dual program, they can still apply. The applications, we accept applications from January to April. So this year is over. We have selected our candidates and we have some phenomenal recipients, just absolutely have overcome so much. And so this is our 6th year. We launched in 2015. So from 2015 to 2019, we've granted 49 scholarships and we're adding 23 this year. So 49 plus 23, we're awarding all of those scholarships. We have awarded and we will award 23 more this year, including they will get 2 of the scholars will receive a $500 cash scholarship in both my grandparents' honor, my maternal and my paternal grandparents. They will also receive a scholarship app from our College Coaching Network partner so they can continue to apply for scholarships while they're in college. They will also receive a brand new laptop in the box. They will receive a backpack filled with school supplies, toiletries, a bed and a bag set for their dormitory, including the linens. They will receive just so much. We are giving them everything they need to go off to college. And we need the community to support us to do that. So we have a fundraiser on our Facebook page. It's at the top of our timeline on our Facebook page. Giving Hope and Help is our Facebook. We also have a website. You can make a donation there at givinghopeandhelp.org. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. We're all over the place, but our fundraiser is specifically on our Facebook page. And we would love everyone that's watching or anyone that wants to support to give just $5 or more. And we're looking for people to support us monthly with a $5 a month donation. Just $5. Just a cup of coffee.
Cup of coffee. Cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I know I have been moved, and I know that those that are watching this, that you can't help but be moved by your story and your inspiration, and to go out and live an amazing life, no matter what the situation is. That there will always be signs, there will always be support, either from above or in the physical world. There are people out there that will help you and support you, and you just have to ask. You just
agree.
have to ask and be open to receiving. Would you agree? Like when you
Absolutely
have to just be open and aware of what transpires after you make that ask.
Absolutely.
What
you have to.
are you getting? What's your spirit saying? How are you being called to turn left versus right? Change colleges, even though you have a full ride. There's always something out there if you're really tuning in and listening. So, Jessica, thank you so much for participating in the Glow Project. And I know that you agree as well that we're just going to send lots of hearts, lots of love. Everyone out there, go live an amazing life. We only have one.
Yes.
So go live an amazing life. Thanks so much, Jessica. Everyone,
thank you so much. Love you much. Bye-bye.
Bye.